But e no go just make sense if we talk about the idea of float if we no talk about inline and block level element for inside CSS, because e get some magic wey dey behind this floating of element. And if you no understand that magic, if you dey float element for inside your CSS, e go dey give you trouble to build a really responsive website. Now, make we just talk about block level element first. So block level element na HTML tags wey dey always stack on top each other, and they dey always take all the spaces wey dey available on top our website. So all these tags wey dey here like this, including this div, na block level element. How you go take know say na block level element be say, so if I just go back to our website like this, say you see this CodeNPidgin, remember say this CodeNPidgin dey inside h1 tag. Now when I come do another h1 tag here like this, you know say e no continue in front of this CodeNPidgin, e come start e own line separately. E mean say this Bioquidowu Samuel wey dey here, so e come stack under this one like this. So this information as e dey like this, they come dey on top of themselves. So anything wey you do for inside your HTML, if e appear for inside your browser to be on top of each other, na block level element be that. Another way to sabi block level element be say, make I just give this h1 tag now as e dey like this. You see this h1 tag, so where I dey see this yeah, you see this h1 and h2 tag wey dey here. So make I just comot this multiple selector so that e go remain this h1 tag alone. So wetin I go just do be say, I go just give am background color. This background color, so I go just call am say green, or make I just put am green yellow. So if I save this information like this, come back to our browser, come reload am. Now the way to know block level element be say, e dey always take all the available spaces from left to right. Shey you dey see am? So this background color like this don expose the yansh of this h1 tag. Say the h1 tag no start from here o. Shey you see am? E start exactly from here, and e dey always go from left to right. E go take all of the available spaces wey dey for inside our website. Wetin I go just do now be say, because say this one dey for center, you fit no understand wetin I dey talk well well. So I go just go back inside our CSS file, for inside our Sublime text. Now inside this h1 tag now, this alignment, I go just comot am. So as I don comot this alignment so like this, save this file again, go back to my browser, come load our website. Now shey you see say everything don come back to left. But this h1 tag as you see am so, because say na block level element, e still dey take all the available space wey dey here from left to right. So this h1 tag like this, normal e suppose end for in front of this n, because everything wey just dey inside this h1 tag na this CodeNPidgin text wey dey here like this. So why the background come still expand reach like this? The reason why this background come expand reach this particular stage wey you dey see so, na because say na block level element e be. So block level element dey always take all the available spaces from left to right. Wetin I mean be say, so if I come minimize this website like this, you see say I don minimize our website so. So if I dey expand this thing like this, you see say the background color dey expand join am. Shey you see am? Shey you see am? So block level element dey always stack on top of each other, and then dey always take all the available space from left to right. Shey you see am so? Exactly. So now we go just quickly discuss about the inline level element. Exactly, just as you don imagine am, inline level element na element wey be say dem dey stack side by side. So example of inline level element is a span element. So to practicalize this one like this, I go just come back to my Sublime text. So wetin I go just do be say, I go just talk say span, and inside this span now, I go just talk say this is a span. Shey you see am? Now wetin I go do be say, I go just copy this is a span, come back here, paste am again, save this information as e dey like this. Now as I don save this information so, I go come go reload our website so that you go see wetin I dey talk. You see say this is a span. This first one wey dey inside the first span, wey talk say this is a span, instead of this second one like this to come start on another line, e no come start on another line again, e come continue as this one. e come continue in front of this one. Shey you see am? This one just mean say this information wey dey here like this, dem dey side by side. So na example of inline element be that. Any element wey dey always appear for your website side by side na inline level element. So another example of inline level element na your image tag. So wetin I go just do now be say I go just practicalize that image tag now to show you say image sef na inline level element. So wetin I go just do be say, you see this image wey dey here, this do what is great image wey we don include for inside our HTML file. So I go just switch back to my Sublime Text now, come go back inside where I come put this image now. Where the image? There we go. Now shey you see this image as e dey like this, I go just give am this class attribute. So I go just say class, come give this image say header image. Now wetin I go just do now be say I go just copy this header image, come inside our CSS file, do dot header image, come continue with the structure of our CSS. So now I go just talk say width to be, let me say 55 px. So if I save this information now, come go reload our website. Now shey you see say this image as e dey like this, e don small. Shey you see am say I don reduce the width of this image. Shey you dey see am? But as I dey look at this image as e dey like this, e come dey too small. So wetin I go just do be say I go just increase the size, say make I just give am 155. Shey you see am so? So I go just reload our website. So now you see say e don increase small. So wetin I go just do now again be say I go just duplicate this image tag multiple times, so that you go know say this image wey dey display here so go come stack side by side. So you go come represent this information side by side, so that you go know say your image tag sef na inline level element. So I go just come back to our HTML file like this. So inside this our HTML file, so I go just talk say, this image, so I will just copy am, come paste am like 10 times. Okay, 10 times too much. I go just paste am like this. This one sef don do. So if I save this information now, come go back to my browser, reload our website. Now shey you see say this information wey dey represent for this my website, so e come dey side by side by side by side. That one come mean say na inline level element e be. Shey you dey see am? And inline level element go also take all the available space from left to right. Wetin I mean be say if I duplicate this information like this multiple times, so if I come back again, save this one, if I come back again, come paste this information again, paste am again, paste am again, paste am again. If I save this information like this, come go back to my browser, come reload our website. Now you see say this picture wey dey display, so e take all of the available space from left to right. When space no come dey this right again, e come begin start on another line. Shey you see am? So if I come minimize this browser like this, if I minimize this browser like this, come dey drag am, you go see say the image e dey drop to the second line. Shey you dey see am? Shey you dey see am? So when this one sef, when space no come dey again for this second line, e come drop again to the third line. Shey you dey see am? So na so e go always be. So wetin that one dey tell us be say our inline level element sef, e dey always take all the available space from left to right. So when space no come dey again, you go come jump to the next line, come dey stack am side by side again. But the overall idea be say inline level element dey always dey side by side, and block level element dey always dey on top of each other. Now you fit convert from block level element to inline level element, but no be standard practice wey many people dey do. Wetin you wan always do be say if you wan float your own picture, one thing to put for mind be say converting images to block level element go give you the power to centralize your image. This is because e no dey possible to centralize inline level element. You dey feel wetin I dey tell you? So converting from inline level element to block level element now dey very useful, especially for image. So wetin I go just do now be say I go just switch back to our sublime text. Inside this our sublime text, so shey you see say this dot header image na the class wey we give inside our image here. So wetin I go just do be say I go just delete all this one, so that e go just remain one image like this. So if I save this information now, come go back to our browser, reload our website. Now you see say we don get just one image here wey you dey see here, so where I dey carry so. Exactly. Now let's assume say we wan come carry this image as e dey like this, we wan come put am for center here. So to put image for center like this, we go just talk say margin left auto and margin right auto. Yeah, so if I just come back to our browser here again, talk say okay, so wetin I go just do now be say this box wey dey appear here, so I go just delete this box and come delete this span element, so that this information, this picture wey dey here, e no go dey confusing for you to understand am. So I go just come back here. So which one be the box? So e be like say na this bioku, so I go just copy this bioku like this, come delete am comot. So this span sef wey we come get here, I go just delete this span again sef here like this. So I go just save this information, come back here sef, save this information, come go back into our browser, come reload our website. If you wan come put this image wey dey like this, say make this image come dey center like this, and the way wey dem dey take do that one be say you go just talk say margin left auto, margin right auto. So I go just come back to our CSS file here. So I go just talk say margin left, I go put auto here. Shey you see am? I come talk say margin right, put auto too. Come save this information wey dey here like this. I go just go back to my browser, come reload our website. Now you see say e no respond to the command wey we don give am for inside our CSS code. Shey you dey see am? Shey you dey see am? E suppose don dey here like this for center here. The reason why e no dey answer us, why e no dey respect the command wey we don give inside our CSS code be say na inline level element, and e no dey possible for you to centralize inline level element. So wetin I go just do now be say I go just convert this image back to block level element. So I go just come back here, talk say display block. So I go just talk say Ctrl S, come back here, come reload our website. Now shey you see say e don respect that command wey we give am. So converting inline level element to block level element dey very useful, especially for images. So quickly I go just talk about the div element. Remember this div element wey I bin show you here, so make I just type am out again, say div. Apart from div element being a block level element, the power of div element be say e dey always divide websites into logical sections. Wetin I mean by logical sections be say, make I switch back to my browser so that we go fit understand wetin logical section mean. So wetin I go just do now be say I go just go back to quizboot.com. So if you take my HTML tutorial, you go don see this website before. But if you never see this website before, wetin this website dey do be say this website dey very useful if you wan take quizzes on anything wey you want. Say you dey learn new thing and you go like make you quiz yourself on top your knowledge. So this website go give you logical questions wey go test your knowledge. This website also dey very useful for organizations. Say if you wan set quizzes for your employees, so you fit just use this website also to take set quizzes for your employees to take measure their performance and progress. Now remember say I tell you say div e dey divide websites into logical sections. Wetin I mean be say you fit imagine this one wey dey here, so you see say this logo wey dey here wey be Quizboot, about, help, explore, login and sign up, all of them you fit just talk say dem dey inside one section like that. Shey you dey see am? Make I come inside our footer. See the footer here, you fit talk say this footer also e dey inside one logical section. So wetin div dey do be say div dey always give us that flexibility, the authority to put logical sections together into one particular body. Shey you see am? So if you just imagine this div to be one body like that. So wetin I go just do now be say, remember say this our CodeNPidgin wey dey here like this, na im be our header. So wetin I go just do be say I go just clear this ones comot. Now instead of putting this h1 tag directly inside our body, wetin I go just do be say I go just cut am come put am inside div, come talk say div, come paste am directly inside am. Shey you see now, this div as e dey like this, e don divide this CodeNPidgin wey dey inside this h1 tag into a logical section. So we fit just give this one im own class, talk say class, we fit just talk say head, we fit just talk say header 1. So if you wan just get logical things wey be say e go dey inside head now, for example say we wan get about, we wan get contact, so we go fit just put all those ones like that inside this header 1 div. So wetin this one dey mean be say e don section this one like this into a logical section. So when we see this header 1 div, we know say okay, e be like say everything wey make up the header na im dey inside this div. Shey you dey see am? Exactly. So na wetin div just be that. So as e be say we don talk about floating, inline level element, block level element, div and span for inside this tutorial. Na so e go be for inside this tutorial. I go see you for the next tutorial when we go dey discuss about positioning.